Okay, so welcome everybody to tonight's webinar. As you can see from the first slide there, tonight we're talking about personal development. This is one of a series of 8 webinars. Those of you who have been on before know I recognise a lot of your faces, a lot of your names, sorry. So you'll kind of have seen this anyway, but this is, as I said, a series of 8 that I run, one a week, apart from the odd week here and there if I can't make it, or like over Christmas I'll take a week or 2 off then as well. So it might take 9 or 10 weeks to go around the whole lot, but they're all recorded, and I'll show you where the recordings are at the end. So tonight we're talking about personal development. I would say personal development is probably the kind of, I know we talk about it a lot within Kleeneze, but I think it's one of the most underrated parts of the business, because when we start off, especially for new starters, we talk a lot about getting your catalogues out, posting your products on all the different groups, 50 local groups, 3 times a day, all those sorts of things. We learn all those skills, and then we learn about sharing the opportunity and kind of introducing people to the business, maybe explaining a bit about how it works, sending them the videos. So learning how to sign somebody up into the business, and then learning how to help them get off to a good start, and then trying to duplicate it all. And all of those skills are fairly straightforward to learn. You can go on classes, you can watch videos and learn how to do those things. But if that's all it was, then everybody who joined Kleeneze within kind of 3, 4, 5 weeks would know everything they needed to know to be really successful. And they do, but obviously not everybody is successful. And most of the reasons why not are down to their personal, what's the word I'm looking for? Issues, I guess. Personal problems. It doesn't sound quite right. But, anxiety, stress, lack of confidence, lack of time management, all sorts of things like that stop them doing what they should do to build a really successful business. And personal development is the key to releasing all of those stresses, getting rid of all of those blockages and obstacles to allow you to build this business as quickly as you want to. So there's a quick definition there. Personal development is a process of self-education where skills and knowledge chosen by you are learned in order to improve the quality of your life. And there's 3 things there really. The key things are, firstly, it's self-education, so it's not somebody else telling you what you should learn. You can choose, you can target areas that you want to improve yourself, public speaking or time management or self-confidence, whatever it might be that you feel you'd like to work on. So you can choose those skills, and the reason that you might choose them will typically be to improve the quality of your life, not necessarily to learn something that a teacher somewhere tells you that you should be learning. So hopefully that all kind of makes sense. As I said, it's not like school where you get told what you have to learn, and you can decide yourself what subjects you'd like to work on. Now, why is it important? As I said, I think in the last webinar, we all have exactly the same opportunity, the same products, the same access to tools. Like, brilliant. Thank you, Graham. I just saw that. Hi, Huel. Nice to see you can hear us okay, Alison, now. Oh, sorry, guys. Just got my phone going off the hook there. So as I said, we all have exactly the same opportunity when we start, but some will succeed and some won't. And we explained a bit about why your attitude is really important. But what I'd like to talk about tonight is how can you make sure that you are one of the ones that succeed. And a key part to that is your self-education. Jim Rohn is one of my favourite all-time speakers and writers on this subject, said, formal education will make you a living. That's what we do at school. Self-education will make you a fortune. So I certainly agree with that. I think there's a big difference between what you learn at school and what you learn as an adult when you're educating yourself. And just a quick kind of demonstration of this, I guess. When I was at school, yeah, I was reasonably okay. I got some O levels, some A levels. Went to university for a year, but I was too immature, really. I didn't work hard enough, so dropped out after a year. And I got, in amongst all those A levels, I got a couple of languages. French, I got a grade B, just because we had a really good teacher. And German, we had a grade E. I just didn't see the point in learning German. I didn't have any plans to go to Germany and didn't quite see why I was learning it. So therefore, I just didn't really work. But then sometime later, I took my, I think they were probably called GCSEs then, I took them again, and I got a grade A in French and a grade A in German. Now, you might think that all of a sudden, because I was eating a lot more fruit and vegetables, I had this sudden skill in languages or something. And of course, that's not true at all. The reason is that I worked hard because I wanted to. All that had happened was the company that I worked for, this was two separate occasions. In one situation, the company was bought out by a French company. There were some opportunities where I could possibly go and work in Paris, and I thought, oh, that sounds exciting. So I thought, I know, I'll go and do get my GCSE up to date, go and study French again, because I thought if I spoke some half decent French, I might have a decent chance of a transfer. So I did my evening class, took the exam again, got a grade A. And the reason that I got a grade A, a similar story with the German, just a different company. And the reason that I got those good grades was simply because I was working on something that I wanted to. It wasn't something that I'd been told. I was working on it because I wanted to. I could see the benefits to myself in doing it. And that's the important point. When you choose self-education, when you develop yourself, you're working on something that you want to work on it. So therefore you do, you work hard, you study, you learn, you practice, and you will get the results that you want because it's something that you're aiming for. So that's all well and good. I'm not suggesting you all go off and learn French and German. The point of this is, how can we bring this back to our business, to Kleeneze? When you think about it, people join Kleeneze for lots of different reasons. Not usually because they have a passion for delivering catalogues. It's usually because they want to change something in their life. They want to improve their lifestyle. It's often based on money, increasing money to allow them to pay the bills or save up for holidays or whatever it might be. But something to do with improving their lifestyle. And so you guys have, a lot of you, I know, recognize a lot of your names in the business. You've all been in the business for a little while now. And when you joined, there will have been some reason, some change in your lifestyle that you needed or you wanted. And my question for you is, have you achieved it yet? Because if you haven't, there's possibly a few things that you can do about that. Now, it could just be that you haven't achieved it yet because you've only joined within the last week or so, which is absolutely fine. But wherever you are now in your business, whether you've achieved the lifestyle that you were looking for that you joined, and you're now, because you're on this webinar, I'm guessing you're looking to move on, maybe to improve that lifestyle even more. So in order to get that improved lifestyle, whatever that might be, that the dream house, the nice car, the extra holidays, the time off, whatever it is that you're looking for, in order to get that improved lifestyle, you need some results. And those results could just be a number of orders from your customers, or it could be you want to build your customer base up to get that reliable income from all your catalogs and your posting, your Facebook work. It could be that you need some team members because you're looking to build up the residual side of the business, the residual income. So it's the results that you need that will give you that lifestyle. Now, in order to get those results, they don't just appear just because you go on an evening class. In order to get those results, you need to take some actions. So that might be, you need to deliver your catalogs. You need to share this opportunity with people. You need to be able to speak to people about the opportunity. And in order to take those actions, you need a good attitude. You need the attitude that, well, if they can do it, so can I. It doesn't really matter if it's raining, I can put a raincoat on. It doesn't matter if my Wi-Fi is down, I can nip into town, find a coffee shop that's got free Wi-Fi, and I can do my work there. There are always ways to do what you need to do. So if you've got a right attitude, then you will take whatever actions are necessary to give you the results. And that attitude, whether that's a good attitude, a bad attitude, whether you're a positive person or whether you tend to always see the bad side of situations, that's based on all sorts of things. But one of the key things it's based on is your philosophies on life. I'm going to explain a bit more about that, what I mean by that, in a moment. Excuse me. So if you've got some great philosophies, that will lead you to having a great positive attitude. And if you've got a positive can-do attitude, then that will mean you will take those actions every day that you know you need to take to deliver those catalogs, speak to people, post on Facebook, whatever it is that you know you need to do. And if you're doing those actions persistently and consistently, you will get the results that will give you the improved lifestyle that you joined for, or that you are thinking about now. So basically, if you just follow that path that I've just explained, having a great philosophy gives you a good attitude, which enables you to take the actions regularly, consistently, which will give you the results, which will give you the lifestyle that you that you were looking for. So that all sounds fairly straightforward. How do you get a good philosophy? Well, it's a number of things. It's the books that you read. It's the CDs that you listen to. Sometimes, and I've got to admit, I'll put my hand up here, I wasn't great at reading books when I first started doing this, but I was quite happy to buy like an audio CD. The first one that I got was the Jim Rohn CD, Building Your Network Marketing Business, which is brilliant. I think it's about 45 minutes, an hour at the most. I used to stick that in the car and just listen to it over and over again while I was driving around. So that's a great way to start if you're not a great reader. A lot of us kind of forget how to read when we leave school. It's not that we forget how to read, but we choose not to put the time into it, don't we? And it's also the people you associate with. If you're mixing with people that just spend all of their time down the pub watching Coronation Street, or whatever, killing time, not really getting the best out of their time, but then if you start, then you often find you're the same. But if you start to associate with ambitious other people in the business who are keen to do things and are inviting you to meetings, and you go along with them and you associate with those people, you start to improve your philosophy. And all of those things are basically, if you like, the word I'm looking for to describe reading books and listening to CDs and associating with things, is that self-education. It's the personal development that you can start anytime. You can start in 20 minutes time after we come off this webinar. In fact, you're already doing personal development. You might not have called it that yet. The fact that you have sacrificed, you've invested half an hour of your time on a Wednesday night when you could be watching telly or down the pub or having a laugh with friends or whatever, you're spending time investing in your own education. So you're already doing this. And who can start this program? Well, all of you can. Anybody can. Jim Rohn said, he's got so many great quotes. I really like Jim Rohn. The greatest value in achieving success is not the money you make, but the person you become. Now, what's that all about? The way I kind of looked at this, Jim described it as, you can imagine two wealthy people, two millionaires, one who got a lottery ticket and was a millionaire, and another one who created a business and was a millionaire as a result of his business. Now, you might say they're both successful because they both got £1 million. But if they then lost that money, if something happened, there was a crash in the bank, or they invested in something and they both lost all their money, the lottery winner would not then be as successful. He was just a lucky person, and the only way he's going to get any money back would be by buying lots of lottery tickets and hope his number comes up again. But the person who worked out how to sell a product and how to market it and how to improve his sales skills and became a really good businessman, learned all those skills and created this fantastic business that then created £1 million. If the business crashes and he loses all the money, the person he has become is still the same. So he is still a successful person, and he can do that all over again. So it's the skills that you learn, not the money that you achieve, that is the greatest value. So you can start doing personal development anytime you want. Just read 10 pages of a good book every day. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean like a Harry Potter book, which is what I would describe as entertainment. A great Harry Potter, I really like those. But that's kind of entertainment, really. You're not really learning the sorts of skills that will help you improve your business through doing that. But I'll give you some examples of some great books in a moment. But even with 115 days off a year, every weekend you can have off, a few days off as well, that's 2,500 pages a year. That's over 10 good books. If you read 10 good books in a year, you will be a completely transformed person at the end of that first year. That's just such a great self-education. As I said earlier, if you're not great at reading, then at least listen to 10 minutes of an audio CD every day. and think about who you spend your time with. Now, I'm not saying that tomorrow you have to go out and ring up all your best mates and say you're never going to see them again, but just think about who you're spending time with, and just think about, this is a great quote there, if the 4 people you're spending your time with, the most time with, are broke, you will be the 5th. And there's a lot of truth in that. So go along to your local meetings, find some people who are successful in the business and try spending a bit of time with those. We're all really friendly bunch of people. I love all my friends in this business, and I learn so much from them all the time. So, right, I've talked about philosophies. Philosophies are I'd like to dig out a really good definition of what your philosophy is, but it's basically, usually I think of it as a short phrase or a sentence that changes the way you think about things in your life. So here's a little one that I really like. Take responsibility for everything going on in your life. If you start to blame somebody, if you're the sort of person that blames the weather because you couldn't get your catalogues out because the weather was bad, you couldn't kind of pay your order off in time because you missed the bus. If you're blaming other things all the time, the trouble with that is you lose the ability to do anything about it. So, little example, if you're in a job and you're thinking, oh, it would be so much easier, I could invest so much more money into my business if my boss would give me a pay rise, but he's such a miserable so-and-so, he'll never give me a pay rise. The problem with that, with having that belief, is you're then waiting for your boss to suddenly become a kind-hearted person and give you a pay rise. And so that you haven't got control of that. You can't do anything about your boss's personality, whether he's going to give you a pay rise or not. However, if instead of saying it's my boss's fault, if you think, okay, let me speak to the boss and see what skills do I need to improve on in order to get a promotion. Maybe you could do an accounting course or learn a language as I did, or improve your time management, or whatever it might be. If you say to yourself, right, I'm going to get to myself to be such a position that I am better at this, I've got more skills, I'm a more useful member of staff, to the point where my boss is going to have to give me a promotion and I'll get a pay rise anyway. If you take that responsibility, rather than just blaming your boss and waiting for him to change, then you've got control over it all of a sudden. Because even if the worst comes to the worst, you get all these extra skills and your boss still doesn't give you a pay rise, you're in a fantastic position then to go and get a better job. Another one that I'm really, really keen on is, I hate it when people say, I don't have time to do that. Because, often people sort of say, oh, well, I'd love to do more in this business. I'd love to get my catalogues out. I'd like to spend more time posting on Facebook. But I've got all these other things to do. I need to get the lunch ready for the kids at school. I need to get my nails done. I've got to go and do the shopping. I've got to do all these other things. The trouble is, if you keep saying, I don't have time to do my business, then the only way you're ever going to have more time is if somebody creates a day with 26 hours. And that's not going to happen. So it's much better just to say, and it's just a change in the words that you use. If instead you say, I choose to spend my time doing this, so working with my children after school, or going down the gym to get fit, or whatever it might be, or I choose to spend my time watching Coronation Street every night. Whatever it is, that's absolutely fine, because you're then in control. You're choosing to spend your time doing that. If you then want to, you can choose to spend your time putting your catalogues out, or working on your business, or making those phone calls. You're in control. And the fact that you're in control, it makes your life a lot easier, because all of a sudden you're making the decisions about whether I want to get a pay rise or not and invest time in my own education, whether I want to sacrifice some of the things I do during the day so that I can spend the time on my business. Because you're in control, you'll find your life becomes a lot easier. You're reducing stress. Even if you do exactly the same as you're doing before, it's your choice then. So you're not stressed out about it. Another great philosophy is, success is a few correct decisions repeated every day, and failure is a few errors in judgment repeated every day. Sometimes it's easy to think successful people are those ones that just that once in their life they got this amazing opportunity and they made a fantastic decision and they did it. But actually, it's never that. It's always every day they kind of educated themselves a bit, they did a little bit more, they ate healthily, they went to the meetings with the right people, all these little things that gradually work in your favour or against you if they're errors, to build you into a better person, able to do more things in your business and create a much better life. As I said now, you don't succeed overnight by making the right decision, and you don't fail overnight from one error. And those little decisions that you repeat every day could be, can I get an extra 50 catalogues out this evening? Can I put another 2 cards up in the local shops, or another 2 posts up on Facebook, or can I read another 10 pages of a good book tonight? All really small things that you can do, or you can choose not to do. It's up to you. And finally, this is a great quote from Zig Ziglar. He said, "Help enough people get what they want out of life, and you can have anything that you want out of life." And that is so true in this business. Okay, I mentioned earlier about some books. If you're not reading at the moment or listening to any CD, I recommend you get one of these to make a start with. So as I said, my first and my favourite one was this one from Jim Rohn, Building Your Network Marketing Business. I think that's a great one. I really think Jim Rohn's got such a fantastic way of talking. And if you like Jim Rohn, then one of his best books is that one here, 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness. It's really one of the best books that I've read about goal setting. Talks about lots of other things. A lot of what I've talked about kind of thinking about your life philosophies are from there. But goal setting is such an important part of this business, and that's a great book to get you started on that. A couple of other ones, The Slight Edge from Jeff Olson and The Compound Effect from Darren Hardy. They're both on the same line, which is basically, it's not the big decisions that you make once in a lifetime. It's the little ones that you make every day that make the difference. And then just wrapping up there, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a classic from Dale Carnegie. The gist of that book is, if you're nice to people and you take an interest in what's interesting them, then it's amazing what you get in return. There's another one by Darren Hardy called Design Your Best Year Ever, which is really like a workbook. It's a great book for just setting goals for what you want to achieve in the next 12 months and breaking them down into smaller, manageable chunks. And it's a workbook, so it's a really great way of keeping track and achieving goals. And the last one, and this is the one I'm actually reading again at the moment. I've read it before. I'm kind of studying it in a bit more detail now. The Chimp Paradox by Steve Peters. It's a great book just about understanding how your brain works. Very simply, we've all got 3 different parts in our brain. The 2 parts that you're probably more aware of is what Steve calls the chimp, which is the bit of you that gets angry, gets upset if someone invades your personal space or steals your seat on the bus or sits in your spot or puts a big fence up right outside your house without letting you know. The chimp is kind of the person that just gets angry all the time. And the human is the more kind of logical, calm, thinking person. And we have all got both. And sometimes you might look back and think, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I regret what I said there, and that wasn't a very good thing to say. And that's because your chimp says something. And if you find yourself getting frustrated or upset or angry at things and you think, oh, how can I deal with all this? That's a fantastic book about how to do that. I think that's a great book. I really like that one. So if you're not reading a book at the moment and there's any of those that you haven't read, I recommend you grab one of those. And you can make a start anytime. I would say make a start today. You could go onto Amazon as soon as you've finished, find one of those books, order it, and it'll be in through your letterbox in a couple of days. And the purpose of this webinar isn't really to create a specific program for you, but I just hope it inspires you to start, because I think personal development is, as I said at the beginning, it's kind of such an underdeveloped part of this business, and I think it's such an important part of it. So hopefully I've inspired you to find out a little bit more there. If there's anything else in there that you'd like a bit more detail of, any more of those books or anything like that, please let me know. I'd be really interested just to hear from those of you guys. I know there's a lot of you on here that I've seen before. Are any of you reading books at the moment? I often ask people what was their favourite one, but a different question this time. Is there anybody who's reading anything at the moment? I've just told you I'm reading the Chimp Paradox at the moment, but Interesting. Ah, Beach Money, Mark. That's an excellent book, that. Yep, good. Pleased to hear you reading that one. Katrina, I haven't heard of that one. 3 Feet from Gold. Oh, Coaching for Performance, Dave. Yep, good one. Good one. Excellent for team leaders, I think, that one. Katrina, I'm going to have to investigate this. 3 Feet from Gold. Haven't heard of that one before, but that's a good one. The 4 Seasons, sure. Is that that's a Jim Rohn one, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's a Jim Rohn one. 4 Seasons of Life he talks about. Ah, Katrina, thank you so much. Oh yeah, GoPro. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, thanks, guys. It's actually a real education for me. Just I always like asking people what they're reading, because you always get good recommendations on good books. So, for those of you who occasionally get asked by, I don't know, aunties and uncles what you'd like for Christmas, there's a fantastic example. Oh, Matt, that's the Dave O'Connor one, The Mindset of a Network Champion, Network Marketing Champion. Fantastic. Okay, guys, I really appreciate your sharing that with me. Hopefully those of you who are not yet reading or are looking for some inspiration as to what to start with, there's some fantastic ideas there. So that was the number 8 out of 8 in this Kleeneze Circle of Success. We'll start all over again next week at number 1, which is all about getting started, especially for new starters or those of you who just want a refresher. And I'm just going to turn off the recording of this one,